Hi, I'm Jon Meyer in the Pennsylvania Outdoor Life Cabin, where after 4 decades, POL is ceasing production of new episodes here at WNEP, and we are celebrating what the show was in hunting and fishing and so much of the outdoors, and celebrating one of its longtime hosts, a conversation with Don Jacobs. Jake, it just has to be surreal sitting here in the cabin and knowing this journey you've been on at WNEP is coming to an end.
It is more than surreal. You have to remember, we take things personally. This has been my life. It's been my challenge. It's been exciting. I got to shake thousands of people's hands at different events. So yeah, but 43 years, John. Like, you know what I mean? I'm at the station 43, on Pennsylvania Outdoor Life 35. I sit back and say, wow, time flies, but it's 43 years, it's okay.
And when you look at 43 years, not many people can look back at how much you've built and how much has been accomplished. And we're sitting in the middle of one of them, Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. What an institution. Obviously it started before you, but
right.
to carry that on, it's just been incredible.
It has been. So the year I started, 1982, they started Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. So I was working in the newsroom. I was the assignment manager for 8 years. Then they came to me and said, hey, Jake, you're the only guy that hunts and fishes in the building, and we need a new producer and a reporter. You want to do it? That was 1990. And when they said, you make your own decisions on what stories, wow. I went everywhere. We did everything. We got involved with research about all kinds of animals, for deer, elk, rabbits, pheasants. We got to handle them and show people in their living rooms what these animals were and why we're studying them. Like, just think about what has transpired in the 35 years that I've been on the show. I just love it. I loved it.
Did it ever feel like work? You
know what? Sometimes it did, because you drive, don't forget we have 19 counties or whatever that we take care of. So when you set up a turkey hunt in Lycoming County, and you have to be there a half hour before daybreak, and it's an hour and 40-minute ride, and then, and then nothing happens. The turkeys don't show up or the fish don't bite. So sometimes it's like, oh, what am I gonna do now? I just, round trip was 4 hours and we haven't seen or caught anything. So sometimes it did, but we always managed to turn it around. So if the turkey didn't show up, we did a turkey calling story, and the person we were hunting with showed us if it was a perfect morning, what would have happened, and he wouldn't do the call. So we managed to turn everything around. Those are the only times it really felt like work, is when the story didn't happen. Other than that, I was in the woods. I was along extreme.
Well, you bring up a good point that those that maybe don't hunt or fish don't realize is that a lot of times it is just waiting and nothing happening, and we still love it.
We still love it, and I hate the word guarantee.
Yes.
So if somebody calls and says, hey, I guarantee if you spend a day fishing for bass with me, we'll be done with the story in an hour. 8 hours later, we don't catch a fish out there, and I'm going, he used the word guarantee. There's no guarantees in outdoor television, period.
But you always found that way to make it something that was interesting and compelling, and that had to be a challenge, but also so fulfilling.
It really was, and what I always said was, if I get asked, do you know about this? And I don't. And I just assume the audience doesn't. And then that would be a good story. So I would assign myself stories that I didn't know the answer to. Like, what kind of animals? How do you hunt snakes? This and that. So I figured if I'm learning from it and I could portray it the right way, I'm teaching the audience. So a lot of people come up to me and say, you're not only funny, you know how to talk, but I learned so much from your program. That's like almost heartwarming to me.
And that's one thing about Pennsylvania Outdoor Life, is the audience wasn't just hunters, anglers. It was people that have never done any of that before and are intrigued by it.
Absolutely, and some of the best stories that we managed to do throughout the years were definitely like mushroom picking. Well, you didn't know it, but you were a mushroom picker at heart, and when I showed you how easy it was, you went out and did it, because I'd get the email saying, oh my goodness, I just picked a chicken of the woods and I cooked it the way you cooked it. So I felt like we were doing other stories, like not just fishing and hunting. We were doing camping stories, and we were doing kayaking stories. And then people would say, you know what, I'm not into hunting and fishing, but I love everything else you do. And that made me feel good too.
What were some of the favorite things that you've done over the years? I mean, I'm sure it's hard when you've done so many amazing things.
Yeah, I'm going to say, again, probably back to wild animals. You know, like I got to release one of the very first fishers in the state of Pennsylvania. I got to release one of the first otters in the reintroduction program. I remember when they were taking a bunch of the elk from the Benezet area and taking them into Clinton County, we went out and darted a bull elk, and I had a chance to actually cut the antlers off. They're back there, right there.
Wow.
I cut the antlers off of them. All those kind of stories. And John, there's been some sad stories too. I mean, I remember, 6'4" Brian Hollingshead, my producer for 26 years, crawling through a bat cave for me, reporting on a disease that's killing every bat in the state of Pennsylvania, white nose syndrome. So that's not my favorite story, but the people wouldn't know about that or how important they are unless we did a story on what was supposedly going to be their demise. And 90% of the population was killed. So I have those kind of stories, not necessarily my favorites, but I felt we did the right thing by doing them.
There's a lot of shows that start in television and never go anywhere. Pennsylvania Outdoor Life has been an institution for all these years. That alone is such a huge success story.
Yes, it is. And you have to remember our hunting and fishing heritage in the state of Pennsylvania, our foraging heritage in the state of Pennsylvania. You have to remember that people, especially during COVID, had no place to go but outside. And then they realized, this is why I watch Pennsylvania Outdoor Life, because I've been sitting on my couch and I need to get out more. And you're right, it's like, why would you sit inside? Why would you do anything but get outside in the great outdoors? And maybe we kept inspiring people to do that over the years. I think that worked.
As you wrap up a career at WNEP, Pennsylvania Outdoor Life is just an example of this station kind of leading the way, and I'm sure you felt you've been part of that all along the way.
Hey, 43 years, and I keep saying that. Do you realize how many specials we did as a local programming department on every disease that came, every problem that happened in the state of Pennsylvania? Do you realize the charities that we've worked on? St. Joseph's Center, you and I, the host for how many years? I mean, I interned in 1982, and I pulled cables for a 1 or 2 camera telethon at St. Joe's, and I volunteered every year until I started doing it. St. Joe's, muscular dystrophy, all of those places that we've helped over the years, community involvement, the expos where thousands and thousands of people would come just to shake our hand and talk to my field staff, talk to all the employees and the honor people at WNEP. So yes, we built this into I'm gonna say the giant of television stations, because people feel ownership, because we've shook their hands, we've been in their backyards, we've flown over their house with Skycam. All of that stuff over the time period that I've seen evolve means a lot to the older generation in the WNEP land, right?
We'll have more with Don and Jon right after this. Welcome back to A Moment with Don and Jon.
And the catchphrase that we say over and over again is proud to serve. Mm-hmm. It's real.
Yeah, it is.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is. They always say that we have the secret sauce, but the secret sauce is your heart and commitment to this area. All of the guys behind the scenes that I work with, their heart and commitment, mine, the management, when we would go in and say, we want to do this, a bike ride following Joe Snedeker, like, that's a commitment. I mean, how many people on that ride following, doing this to end up with you and me and Mindy at the tent?
Team. Have a good night, everybody.
That's a commitment, and it's right here. It's all the people that have over the years felt the need to be part of northeastern and central Pennsylvania, and you're one of them.
And for you to wrap up a career doing that, there just have to be so many memories coming flooding back.
Yeah, since we started knowing that this was going to happen to the show, right? I mean, all good things come to an end. I have sat back and knew that people were going to say, what was your favorite part? And I don't have a favorite part. I loved everything about it, but I loved community. I loved shaking hands. I loved the expos and the telethons and the bike rides and the store. I just loved everything about it. I'm a people person, and that's probably the thing I'm going to miss the most. But we'll see what happens.
You know, you talk to young people when they're thinking of their future, and you probably think back to you starting at WNEP, and no way you'd ever know this path would have been in front of you.
Yeah.
But now looking back, you must just be so thrilled that you were able to be on this journey.
I am super thrilled. I've met and worked with some of the best in the industry. I have met and worked with people in our community that have inspired other people to do good for other people, and it begets each other, one right after the other. I do. I feel really, really good that where it started for me and it evolved and blossomed, I feel very accomplished in my career.
Now you get to this point, it's got to be hard to see something like this come to an end. But this isn't the last we're going to see of you around here.
Well, I hope so. I mean, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do, right? 43 years. It's been a great run. I plan on spending time with Lucy, my fiance, my children, my grandchildren. Turkey and trout season right around the corner. I'm going to be doing a lot of that. And then I'm just going to sit back and see what happens. Right? What doors open, what avenues I can take. Because I don't think I'm done yet. But I know that Pennsylvania Outdoor Life had a great run. And who knows, maybe you'll see me around here from time to time.
I'm guessing you don't have to hunt for work or fish for work, but you will be out doing all that quite a bit.
Oh yeah, my grandkids love fishing already. My one grandson's 8 years old. He's already talking about, can I go hunting? And my grandson hunts, or my son-in-law, my nephew hunt with me. I have tons of friends out there that I personally do that stuff with. So even if I take several months and just relax, it's going to be with a fishing pole or with a turkey call in my mouth.
Now, there's a lot of people that, you know, have just hunted and fished with you for all these years. And I know as a hunter and an angler, there's that bond. What do you say to all of them after this journey you've been on with them?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, they made television really easy. You made education really easy. You have been there when I needed a story and I call and say, hey, I don't have a story. Can you take me out in your boat? Can one of the guides that I've done stories with? And they'll say, yep, I can fit you in and we'll go and we'll fish for this. All I could say is thank you, because it was never a chore for people to do a story with me, and I felt that. I think maybe I warmed them up a little bit on our first time meeting, but thank you. Thank you for getting involved and teaching our audience and teaching me along the way how to hunt and fish, because I learned so much.
And you leave a legacy in that whole world, but then if you step into St. Joseph Center and you look around there, you'll know what you did there too. And that has to mean the world to you.
It really does, John. And, you know, I hope to be volunteering there the rest of my life, if not working somehow to make it a better place every year. But you and I and Mindy, we stand there, and when we say, don't forget, this place isn't going to go away. They can use your help. Make a phone call. And those phones start ringing. And you just know that we have the gift of gab, and we use it appropriately for the right charities, for the right reasons, and St. Joseph's has always been the right reason.
And that place, you walk in there, and the people, they are part of us as soon as we got involved, and you've been involved a long time with it.
Yeah, it is. And all I keep telling anybody, if you don't believe that place can grab your heart, ask for a tour. Because all you have to do is walk through the halls of that big building and see all the work that's being done on those children, on the residents, and all the other programs that have been developed because of our work, raising money. A lot of it is anyhow. Yeah, it's a good feeling.
What do you think, just you become kind of the hunting and fishing expert of the area, what's the future of that whole world? Is it, you know, we've seen the popularity go down a bit from some of that, but it seems like...
Yeah, I know, and that has always been a struggle. I think the agencies out there, the Game Commission and the Fish and Boat Commission, saw that it was a problem. Like, kids were doing less. They were getting involved with more organized sports and not fishing every weekend, and on and on and on. They started developing, you know, mentoring programs, and I think I'm very optimistic that the heritage of hunting and fishing is going to stay. I think it's going to continue to change. I think it's going to be 1 or 2 days instead of, I mean, I hunted and fished every weekend. Like every weekend. My father was a laborer, and Saturday was hunting day and fishing day, when Saturday and Sunday. So I'm optimistic that the heritage of hunting and fishing will be around. I think we just have to keep adapting with the changes and making more opportunities.
And we certainly have seen the changes in the world. How about your changes you've witnessed at WNEP over the years, just technologically and all that?
Oh my goodness. We went to Jackson Hole, Wyoming with a bunch of teachers, right? We received these gift of this class called the American Wilderness Leadership School. We were shooting on 3/4-inch tape, which had a big deck and then a cord going to a camera, and we're climbing through Yellowstone. I think about that when now people are shooting on little cameras like this, right? Modern technology has changed so much over the years. We went from putting a camera in an aquarium and pushing it down to get underwater video. We called it our high-tech underwater camera housing, and people were laughing at us, but that was how we got underwater video. And now we have GoPros, and we just put it on a stick. The drone, I mean, think about what we're doing with drones. So, I embraced it because I had a great producer, Brian Hollingshead, for most of my career. He embraced modern technology. We'd go on a shoot, he'd have 2 GoPros, he'd have a big camera, he'd have the drone in the air, and we came back with some stellar video and stories, and I know that. I'm just saying that over the years, and if you learn one thing from me, adapt as much as you can, because modern technology is going to keep on changing.
Well, Jake, I gotta say, it's been an honor to work with you all these years, and the
Same
legacy
here.
you leave at WNEP can't be matched with this. You look at this. We're sitting in this place that you really helped create, and good luck with everything.
Thank you very much.